Hey everyone, today I'm going to be going over the Module 6B practice tests. So equation word problems, solving inequalities, writing inequalities, graphing inequalities, and then inequality word problems. So the directions here say to define a variable and write an equation to represent each situation. So here we're rolling with the equal sign, solve the equation, and give the answer to the question. Remember to include units. So this is John and Belinda play 9 holes of golf. John's score was 10 strokes less than 2 times Belinda's score. If John's score was 54 strokes, write and solve an equation to find Belinda's score. So here's my variable. For my equation, I know his score was 54 strokes, so my equation is going to be equal to 54. And it says John's score was 10 strokes less than 2 times Belinda's score. So 2 times Belinda's score minus 10 is equal to 54. So I'm going to add 10 to both sides and then divide by 2. So x equals 32. So 32 strokes. Number 2 says Colton and 2 of his friends are going to an amusement park. The cost of admission to the park is $39.95 per person. Once they are in the park, Colton and his friends ride the race cars, which require an additional fee. If the total amount spent by all 3 boys is $143.70, what is the additional fee to ride the race cars? So my variable is going to be the additional fee. $0.95 times 3. So I'm going to do 3 times 39.95 plus x is equal to 143.70. Because all 3 boys have to pay admission to the park. And then if all 3 boys are going to ride the race cars, we're going to have to do 3 times that. So 3 times 39.95, not 35, plus x is equal to 143.70. So I'm going to distribute here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to divide by 3 because it does come out okay. So I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides to get rid of the distributive property. So 39.95 plus x is equal to $47.90. Then I'm going to subtract 39.95. So x equals $7.95. So this is going to be $7.95 per person. Because again, 3 boys are doing this, so we have to count for all 3 people. Number 3 says Megan and Aiden each have an iPod. Megan has 26 more songs on her iPod than Aiden does. If together they have a total of 80 songs, write an equation that can be used to find how many songs Aiden has on his iPod. So I'm going to have x be Aiden's songs. And then x plus 26 is Megan. So x plus 26 is equal to 80 songs. I'm going to subtract 26 and combine like terms. So 2x equals 54. I divide by 2. and X equals 27. So Aiden has 27 songs. It's an ugly 7. And Megan has 53 songs because 27 plus 26 is 53. Number 4 says Tatiana buys 4 boxes of cereal. She has coupons for $1.15 off the regular price of each box of cereal. After using the coupons, the total cost of the cereal is $8.40. Write and solve an equation to find the regular price of each box of cereal. So X is going to be regular price. And for my equation, I'm going to write 4 times X minus $1.15. This one is just like the boys going to the amusement park. I have to account for all 4 boxes of cereal is equal to $8.40. And because the discount applies to all 4 boxes of cereal for each box, I have to do it times 4. So 4 times X minus $1.15 is equal to $8.40. I'm going to divide by 4 here because it's going to come out pretty nice. So X minus 1.15 is equal to, I want to say it's going to be 210. Yeah, $2.10. So I'm going to add 115 to both sides, and X equals $3.25. Number 5 says the perimeter of a local dog park measures 224 feet. So I'm going to draw a picture here just so we can kind of gauge what that looks like. If the length of the park is 8 feet less than 2 times the width, so that means I need to know the width to find the length. So X and X. If the length of the park is 8 feet less than 2 times the width, so 2X minus 8 for those 2 side lengths. And then depending on how you choose to view these problems, you can write 2 different equations. So I will write them both in case you decide, or depending on which one you decided to do. So you could do 2 times 2X minus 8 plus 2X equals 224. That is using the perimeter formula. So the perimeter formula is perimeter equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So I did 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Or what you can do is you can just add up all the sides. So I can add up X plus X, or sorry, yep, X plus X plus 2X minus 8 plus 2X minus 8 is equal to 224. Both of them, when simplified, are going to get me the same thing. So here, if I distribute 4X minus 16 plus 2X is equal to 224, then 6X minus 16 is equal to 224. The same thing is going to happen on the right-hand side. So I've got 1, 2, 4, 6 X's. Negative 8 and negative 8 is going to be a minus 16 is equal to 224. It just depends on how you view perimeter, if you would rather use the formula or if you would add up all the sides. Either way, I'm solving the same equation. So I'm going to add 16 to both sides. So 6X equals 240. And when I divide by 6, X equals 40. So the width is 40 feet. The length, 2 times 40 minus 8. 80 minus 8 is going to be 72 feet. So this one, it asks you to give the dimensions. What are the dimensions of the dog park? So make sure that you're giving both dimensions. Starting with number 6, we're going to be graphing inequalities. Remember, for graphing inequalities, I told you guys to make sure that 0 is on your number line. So I'm going to put 0 smack dab in the middle of each of my number lines here. We're going to put our value on the correct side of 0, so negative 10 goes here. And then everything after that is decided by this symbol. Greater than or equal to means that my circle is going to be filled in. It includes negative 10. And then I'm going to use 0 to help me. So I'm going to say, okay, is 0 greater than or equal to negative 10? That is true, so I'm going to go in the direction of 0. Negative 15 is here. And I'm going to again use 0, so negative 15 is greater than or equal to 0. That is not true. So I'm going to have a closed point on negative 15, and I'm going to go the opposite direction. I'm going the opposite way of 0 when it doesn't work. So positive 2 goes on the right-hand side of 0. This one's going to be an open circle because there is no equal sign. And then 0 is less than 2. That is true, so I'm going to go in the direction of 0. Here, 5 goes on the right-hand side of 0. And when I use 0, 5 is less than 0. That is going to be a no. So I'm going to have an open point, and then I'm going to go opposite of 0. Okay, so if 0 is true, go towards 0. If 0 is false, go away from 0. Starting with number 10, we're solving. Remember that the one rule for solving inequalities is if you multiply or divide by a negative, you are going to flip the inequality. So in this first one, when I multiply by a negative 3 on both sides, I'm going to have m is greater than negative 15. Here I'm dividing by positive 4, so even though my answer comes out negative, my sign does not flip. Here I'm going to divide by negative 11. Because I'm dividing by a negative, my sign is going to flip, so w is greater than negative 8. Here I'm going to multiply by negative 3. So negative 27 is less than or equal to t. Here's my two-step ones. So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. So 3b is less than or equal to negative 6. I'm dividing by a positive, so nothing changes. B is less than or equal to negative 2. This one, I'm going to multiply both sides of my equation by negative 5 over 4. So this is going to be 15 minus x is greater than negative 20, because my sign has to flip because I multiplied by a negative. Now I'm going to subtract 15. Negative x is greater than negative 35. And then I'm going to divide by negative 1, and my sign actually has to flip back because I divided by another negative. So it is okay for your signs to have to flip back. Here I'm going to multiply by 2/3, or 3/2, sorry, not 2/3. I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, so 3/2. So this cancels, and I'm left with 12 minus x is greater than 6. Then I'm going to subtract 12. Negative x is greater than negative 6, and when I divide by negative 1, x is less than 6 because I divided by a negative. For number 17, I'm going to get rid of this constant first. Then I'm going to divide to get rid of my distributive property. So 3x plus 5 is less than negative 10 because I divided by a negative. I subtract 5, so 3x is less than negative 15. And when I divide by 3, x is less than negative 5. Number 18, I'm going to do something very similar. I'm going to subtract 7 first. So 2.5x minus 4 over negative 3 is less than or equal to negative 20. Then I'm going to multiply to get rid of this fraction. So negative 3 on both sides. So I've got these cancel. So 2.5x minus 4 is greater than or equal to 60. Then I'm going to add 4 to both sides. So 2.5x is greater than or equal to 64. I divide by 2.5. And I got 25.6. Let me squeeze that in here really quick. We'll put it right here. X is greater than or equal to 25.6. Okay, and that one's okay to be a decimal because you are dividing by a decimal, so it's probably not going to come out great. Okay, so again, the only special rule for solving is if you multiply or divide by a negative, make sure you flip that inequality. Now we're going to head into some word problems. So we're going to head into writing an inequality, and then we're going to do writing and solving. So this says more than 40,000 fans attended the opening football game at the University of Florida. So more than is going to be my symbol. That's going to be greater than. Here I'm going to say fans that attended. So the fans that attended is more than 40,000. Her earnings were no more than $86 is going to be less than or equal to. So X is going to be earnings. And my earnings are less than or equal to $86. A savings account balance is now less than $550. So X is going to be account balance. So X is less than 550. The number of club members is at least, so greater than or equal to 25. So X is going to be club members. The spring calf class at the cattle show is for calves that weigh 200 or 825 pounds or less. That's going to be less than or equal to. So X is going to be weight. And that weight is less than or equal to 825 pounds. So the phrasing on that one where it says 825 pounds or less includes the 825. That's why I have the equal sign. The minimum deposit, so minimum is going to be greater than or equal to, because minimum is the lowest you can be. For a new checking account is $75, so X is going to be deposit amount. And X has to be greater than $75. These next ones, we're actually going to be solving them after we write them. So number 25 says a particular kind of contact lens can be worn up to 30 days in a row. So up to 30 days in a row is going to be less than or equal to. Alex has been wearing these contact lenses for 21 days. Write and solve an inequality to show how many more days Alex could wear his contact lenses. So X is going to be days. So X plus 21 is less than or equal to 30 days of wearing them. And I'm going to subtract 21. So X is less than or equal to 9 more days. Number 26 says the area of a rectangle is at most. At most is going to be less than or equal to. The width of the rectangle is 3.5 inches. What are the possible measurements of the length? So X is going to be the length of the rectangle. So my inequality is going to be 2 times the length plus 2 times the width is less than or equal to 21 square inches. So 2x plus 7 is less than or equal to 21. I subtract 7, so 2x is less than 14. So x is less than 7 inches. Number 27 says one cell phone company offers a plan that costs $29.99 and includes unlimited night and weekend minutes. Another company offers a plan that costs $19.99 and charges 35 cents per minute during nights and weekends. For what number of night and weekend minutes does the second company's plan cost more than the first company? So second on this side, and we want the first on this side. So the second company is going to be this one. So I'm going to do that one first. And that's going to be $19.99 plus 0.35x, because x is going to be minutes. Is greater than the other plan of $29.99. So I'm going to subtract $19.99 from both sides. So that's going to be $10, and then I'm going to divide by 0.35. So x is going to be greater than 28 minutes. So 0.35 times 28, just to make sure that it works, plus $19.99 is going to be $29.79. So I actually have to go up to 29 minutes. Because I got like 28.5 something. And 28 minutes is actually not enough to make it more expensive. So it has to be 29 minutes. So when you're getting those decimals, just like on that word problems homework, make sure you're checking to make sure which ones work. Because remember, I want that second company to be more expensive. Number 28 says Keith has $500 in a savings account at the beginning of the summer. He wants to have at least $200. That's going to be less than or equal to. No, at least is greater than or equal to. My bad. $200 at the end of the summer if he withdraws $25 per week for food, clothing, and movie tickets. How many weeks can Keith withdraw money from his account? So X is going to be the weeks. And he's got $500 currently, and he's taking out $25 per week, and he wants to have at least $200 left by the end of summer. So 500 minus 25x is greater than or equal to 200. So minus 500. So negative 25x is greater than or equal to negative 300. Now, when you get to this point in the inequality, yes, there are negatives involved, but remember, you're taking money out of the account each week. And when I divide by a negative here, the negative divided by a negative is going to make it back into a positive. So if you're thinking that answer is not going to make sense, think about what signs you have and how those are going to affect each other. So when I divide by negative 25, x is going to be less than or equal to, because my sign has to flip, and it's going to be 12. So x is less than or equal to 12 weeks. So if he withdraws at any point past 12 weeks, he's not going to have enough money left in that savings account like he wants. Number 29 says Pet Supplies makes a profit of $5.50 per bag on its line of natural dog food. If the store wants to make a profit of no less than, that's going to be greater than or equal to $5,225, how many bags of dog food does it need to sell? So X is going to be the bags of dog food. And it makes $5.50 per bag, and they want to make more than or equal to $5,225. So this one is just division. That's going to be 950 bags. And that is the end of our Module 6B practice test. If this was not enough of an explanation, please let me know. Or if you're just using the answer key, that is fine too.